to Mythgard in Middle-earth. My name is Corey Olson, the Tolkien professor and the president of the Mythgard Institute, and I am happy to be back here in Middle-earth with Gryfflet. We are still here in the ruins of Trestle Bridge, which are still smoking, as you can see in the background. Oh yes, I meant to say hi, everybody. Of course, I was also just noticing right before I started the stream that, look, poor Talbot Hinton still over here. He was just standing still all hunched over like the guy still needs to see his chiropractor after being in the pillory. Get better, Talbot. We're really rooting for you. Anyway, so we're here in Trestlebridge. And Abby Digweed, at the end of last time, when we finished her quest chain, told us to go east and never north. That is, to go up the Greenway, and then there's going to come a crossroads, and we should definitely go east and definitely not go north. And I was figuring that the best thing we could do today is utterly ignore Abby Digweed's sensible advice and carry on north, because by golly, I've followed the Greenway. Again, this is one of the things that I don't know, I'm sure some of you shared my experience too. This is the kind of thing that I loved most when I first started playing Lotro, just being here and being like, I am standing on the Greenway right now. And that the Greenway stretching off to the north. It's like, you heard about where does it go, and to be able to actually sort of see that and kind of put it in your mental map, not to mention having a really cool regular map. Of course, we can see exactly where the Greenway goes, where we knew it went all along, the whole purpose of the Greenway, to go up to Fornost. So I think that that's where we're going to be heading today. We are supposed to go all the way over here to see Halberud the Ranger, and needless to say, as I mentioned last time, I'm like very fanboy interested in seeing Halberud as well. But one thing at a time. We're on the Greenway, and we should take the Greenway north. So we're going to ride north on the Greenway here and see what we find and what Abby Digweed doesn't want us to find. I doubtless for our own good. It's not that I think Abby Digweed is trying to hide anything from us, but not that she's trying to conceal something for her own interest. I'm sure she has our best interest in mind, but nevertheless, we are a bold and intrepid burglar and are going to carry on. In connection with which, I have a few lore questions left over from last time. And in particular, I wanted to start with the one that Cheryl Cardoza asked. Cheryl, it's a great question. She's asking about the burglar quests, and how do I feel that these fit into Tolkien's lore. I actually am kind of surprised at how well they fit in, because they're the two special burglar quests we've had so far. The first was the one, remember, where we went to Farmer Maggot's land and stole his mushrooms to protect them, right? We were totally protecting Farmer Maggot's mushrooms. But that sounds exactly like what a Hobbit burglar would do, right? On the one hand, there's this like genuinely patriotic, let's protect the Shire angle to it, right? Where we're totally like, there are brigands coming in and they're going to stay. We better take Farmer Maggot's mushrooms for their own protection, right? But at the same time, we're also sneaking in and stealing Farmer Maggot's mushrooms. I mean, there's no two ways about that, right? So, but then again, it seems like exactly what a Hobbit would do. I mean, we know that, Frodo, as a Hobbit lad, used to go in and sneak and steal Farmer Maggot's mushrooms whenever he could get away with it, which was obviously less than 100% of the time. But anyways, I mean, it seems like a very sort of Hobbit-y thing to do. So both of the motivations, that is the avowed motivation to help protect the Shire from the brigands, the Shire and Shire goods from the brigands, and the clandestine goal of actually stealing Farmer Maggot's mushrooms, seems to be, both of them seem to be very much in line with sort of the kind of thing that hobbits would do. The second one, the one that we just did, which was slightly more serious in tone, where we were with that. Remember what I mean? I'm not talking about the shady assignation in the basement of the inn. I still would rather not think about that. But anyway, the point is, I'm thinking about the actual quest, right, where we were taken out to that half-orc ruin, and we were stealing that legendary sword in order to help the people. That seems like exactly a burglarious kind of thing. I mean, we think about what burglar meant, right? With the whole category of burglar comes in The Hobbit, of course, when Bilbo is hired to be the burglar. And what do they want a burglar to do? Well, again, a burglar, he's not hired to be a thief, right? And remember, he kind of bristles at being called a thief, which he's called both by Gollum and by Smaug, right? He doesn't think of himself, Bilbo does not think of himself as a thief. He's a burglar, and that's a different thing. A burglar is somebody, of course, what's the difference between a thief and a burglar? Well, the difference is a burglar is somebody who sneaks into somebody's house to steal something, right? And as far as the sort of moral uprightness and social respectability of such a profession, it depends upon into whose house you're sneaking, right? So he was, of course, contracted to sneak into... Thorin was essentially contracting him to sneak into his own house in order to steal from the one who had stolen from them, right? From the dragon, from the wicked dragon who was holding everything. Again, what exactly he was supposed to steal and what precisely he was supposed to accomplish by doing this, not real clear, actually, in chapter 1, in any chapter, frankly, of The Hobbit. But anyway, that's the job, and so it's respectable in as much as that's what the burglarious thing is doing. So you can see a kind of parallel there that they're developing. Not that they're developing like a really careful Hobbit parallel or anything in that quest, which was really brief and really simple. But the idea is the same, right? We have these wicked persons here, in this case this camp of half-orcs instead of the dragon. We have an artifact in there which is not theirs, right? So you're not actually stealing from them. As in Bilbo's case, your burglarious job is recovery, right? Rather than acquisition. So there is this sword which has been stolen by the half-orcs and is being guarded by them, and you are to sneak into this camp and merely repossess that legendary sword for the benefit of the land and for, and so that both of the elements, I would isolate 3 elements of that quest, which seem to me very much in keeping with Tolkien's burglars. One is, again, the fact that you're sneaking into the camp of the wicked enemy to retake something which they themselves have stolen. Second, the fact that you are doing it for the greater good. This is not even just like some really rich person says, like, those wicked people stole my wealth, and I want that wealth back because I'm rich. And so you're doing it for, it's not like that, right? You're doing it clearly for the greater good. This is something that will help many people, and Bilbo clearly believed that he was doing good in what he was doing, as is most plainly evidenced by his by sort of the culmination of his burglarious career in his theft and then handing over of the Arkenstone, right? But then the third element that I would point out is the way in which the burglar is not placed in a warrior or hero role. Remember, those are the 2 other categories of contracting professionals that Gandalf had been looking for. Right? They needed an independent contractor, the dwarves, and he was looking for a warrior, possibly a hero, right? But he couldn't find any of those. None of those were available, so he had to find a burglar instead. So the contrast between burglar and warrior/hero is one of the things that gets established in chapter 1 of The Hobbit. And of course we see Bilbo in particular in the moment when he's rescuing the dwarves from the spiders, really kind of transcends the role of burglar and actually does become both warrior and hero in that moment, which is really fun. But again, in that burglar quest that we just did last week, once again, I wasn't expected to use the sword, right? I thought the quest was very appropriately modest, right? Sneak in, recover this sword, bring it back. Not sneak in, recover this sword, and then wield it against the half-orcs and leave them all in a bloody heaps on the... That's not the quest, right? We were not, in fact, even asked to kill anyone in that quest. There was no combat required, and as you remember from last time, I attempted to do it entirely without combat, in which I was not 100% successful, but it was I was pretty close, right? And that, again, that also seems to me very much in keeping with this sort of the spirit of burglary, as Tolkien described it. So Cheryl, back to my quick answer. So far, I'm actually really impressed with sort of the spirit of the burglar as a class. And those class quests, those burglar quests, are some of the places where the role of burglar and sort of the identity of burglar as a class is most clearly defined. That's the, whenever I do different classes, and I have played 4 or 5 different classes now in Lotro. It really primarily for this reason, in order to sort of see how each class is treated within the game. I've been relatively pleased by all of the those class quests. And the burglar ones, actually, especially. But anyway, here I am getting distracted, just answering lore questions. Because, of course, you see we're still on the Greenway, which is still pleasantly green. And we're heading up, but now we can see that the land up ahead is becoming rather ominous. So it's been very green, especially after the Lone Lands. I was talking last time about how refreshingly green this whole area was. There's the palisade of those orcs, those Tarkrip orcs that I was visiting last time, and we see we've got these lovely pine woods right up here on the heights. Oh, there's a nice ruin up there. Maybe we'll get a chance to go see that ruin. But now we see there's something very wrong up here. It just does not look as nice in the general Fornost region. Does anyone recall what the nickname, or not the nickname, but what the men in Bree call Fornost nowadays? What does Barlam and Butterbur call Fornost? He does not use the word Fornost. He seems to have forgotten the name Fornost. The signpost points to a dark land in the north. Fornost. Right. So this is where I was supposed to go east and not north. Yeah, I can see he calls it Deadman's Dyke, of course, and says it's haunted land. And I have to say that every time I come up to Fornost, all of the time that I have spent riding through Fornost, the words of Butterbur keep going through my mind as he says, "That's haunted land, that is." And we can certainly see that phrase certainly seems to have guided the Turbine team as they designed Fornost here. But okay, here we are in Fornost, and there's somebody. Okay, all right, we've got a little camp here. All right, let's see what's going on at Fornost before we go off and visit Halbert. So we've got Colbert the Mad, right? Okay. So we've got an elf, a madman, and Mincham, and a horse. Okay. All right. Yeah. You don't get many visitors here. Well, I'm glad to break up the monotony for you. Okay. Wow. All right, I got a surprising amount of experience from just riding up here. Okay. Mincham, a ranger of the north. Excellent. And ever a protector of these lands. Yeah, that's really cool. So again, here again, I'm thinking of Aragorn's words. Until Halbered and the Grey Company show up in the Return of the King, we never. I know it is in the Return of the King. We never really actually see evidence. Aragorn talks about how the Rangers have protected, but he might as well be talking about just himself for all we see, right? We never actually see the Rangers at work. So it's really neat to sort of go through the game and see these. We saw, of course, our friend Candaith, the illiterate in the Black Speech, who was, camped out near Weathertop and watching over things. We saw Syrden, the guy who was up along the road north of Bree, keeping watch at strategic places. They're not an army, right? There aren't enough of the Dunedain to be, having sort of maintaining an armed perimeter or anything like that. They can't do that. But what they can do is they can sit around and keep watch and presumably communicate with each other. So I think that's sort of well conceived. So anyway, so here's Mincham. And don't let me forget to talk about Trestlebridge in that regard too. I'll do that as I'm sure I'll get a chance to do that. Okay, anyway, you're a Ranger of the North. Of course you are. And a Protector. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so your duty is to keep watch over the fields of Fornost. Yeah, that seems like you drew a short straw there, Mincham. Wise folk do not come near this place, he says, somewhat self-deprecatingly. Allow me to introduce my companion, Colbert the Mad. So he likes to call himself, does he? He wandered out of the field one day and sat himself down at my fire. It was some time ago, and he has not left. Is that my quest? Get rid of Colbert the Mad? Is that, do you want to be relieved of Colbert the Mad? So, okay. Hey, Colbert. He fixes me with a hard stare. He looks amused. Okay, yep. You came out of Fornost and lived to tell the tale. Okay. I'm Gryfflet the Mad? Really? Okay. Mad to come to this place. Ghosts, evil spirits, and bears. Okay. That's a little disappointing conclusion there, Colbert, but that's okay. And there is what, Ithremin. Ithremin, okay, Ithremin. The DH, of course, is in Sindarin is pronounced as a voiced th, so it's th, as in this. So Ithremin, our vigilant lookout. Okay, excellent. He looks vigilant. I agree. He speaks but rarely smiles. Oh dear. You don't begrudge him his silence. Okay. He came from Meluinen. All right. All right. Should I ask him what brought him hither? He does look awfully vigilant. Hey, Ithremin. Ithremin. I added a syllable to your name. What you looking at? Let's see. I don't see anything. Yeah. Well, but anyway, you're being vigilant, so that's good. Okay, right. Of course he doesn't speak, right? He's a silent guy, as we just heard. Okay, so I after sharing I got experience for sharing an awkwardly silent moment with Ithremin. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, he watches and listens all day. Okay, yeah. You don't know to what he hearkens. Did you ever? Well, you asked him, but he didn't answer. So okay, all right, I see. Fine. Whatever draws his attention, he fears it. Okay. All right. So, Ithremin, can I help you with anything? Here, normally this like scares people, but I'm a ninja. So I can help you. I thought maybe you would be reassured by this. I'm not actually a farm boy carrying around stalks of grain. I'm totally competent. Okay, you ask Ithremin what he hears, but he does not respond. Of course he doesn't respond. Why do I keep initiating conversation with the silent guy? Of course he's annoyed too. He's looking. All right. Oh, so I'm supposed to meditate. I was looking instead of meditating. Okay, hang on. He's all right, hang on. I'm going to meditate. All right, I guess I do that sitting down. Let's see, what do I look like when I'm meditating? I'm looking very pensive, with my feet out in front. Oh, look, I'm actually sitting on the log. How nice. There's a song. I hear a ghostly and unsettling song. Oh my goodness. Oh, he speaks. Wow. You hear the twisted song. Great evil lies beyond the light of the fire. Do you seek death? If not, stay and listen from afar. But if I do seek death, I should go. Therefore. Right. Okay. Right. But as I have absolutely no sense of self-preservation, I'm off. Okay, I'm totally into this. Let us not worry about death. Here we go into the haunted land of Fornost. Boy, those trees look unhealthy. It really does not look like a happy place. Oh, but it's a happy place with the ruins of a little tower on a hill over here. I don't even think I can get up there. See, this must have been a watchtower back in the day. Had to have been something like a watchtower, some kind of outpost, right? Because you've got the road which went up here, and so clearly goes to Fornost, which is up that way, right? And there's a little watch post over here. Yeah, totally. There must have been Yeah, so they really had this valley well watched, which again, you look at the sort of the way that this is set up, it's a very protected valley. So as long as you watch the opening of the valley here, and it opens out over here to go towards Evendim, so you have outposts here. Fornost is not only itself a very strong position, like it's itself a very strong fortress, it's also a the whole valley is very well protected. Oh, I've got Oathbreakers. Oh man, I've got ghosts. And again, it's on the one hand, I always have kind of mixed feelings about the Oathbreakers up here. On the one hand, there seems to me a more than minor risk of overusing the whole Oathbreaker motif, right? Tolkien had his Oathbreakers down in the Paths of the Dead, and it kind of seems like, seriously, like, to make the thing that happened between the Oathbreakers and Isildur down in the south there into like a sort of a common thing. It's like this happens all the time. Seems to me to really risk sort of cheapening that particular story. But at the same time, I do admire the fact that they don't just have random ghosts, right? I mean, Barlam and Butterbur says this is haunted land, so there's motivation, there's book justification for having ghosts up here. There's got to be something that has inspired the men of Bree to view this land up here as haunted, and yet they don't want to just the Turbine folks don't just want to be like, oh yeah, there's like ghosts and zombies, right? And there are many game developers that would have just been like, heck yeah, ghosts, zombies, let's fling them in there. Why not some ghasts and other Dungeons and Dragons characters as well? But they didn't do that, right? Instead, they stick pretty firmly. The only spirits like that we get Barrow-wights and we get the Oathbreakers, and those are really the only sort of clearly sort of undead category things that we get, and so they stick to that. And what we see up here are Oathbreakers and Barrow-wights. That's so although again I have kind of mixed feelings about it in the end. I think it's a pretty good move. And of course, what they have done, as hopefully we will discover as we go through, they have in fact shown that they have actually given an oath-breaking story here, right? So we had the Oathbreakers down in the Lone Lands, right? Danasin and his boys, from Arthedain, who had failed to defend the Red Maiden, were cursed by Tom Bombadil. We've apparently got another setup here, and they probably screwed up in a different way. It really shows you, right? Take oaths seriously, because I mean, look what happens, right? If you've sworn to do something, you would, by golly, best better do it. And actually, that's kind of not an inappropriate kind of Tolkien conclusion to draw. One can draw that kind of conclusion from his story. Well, I have found the source, it seems, of the scary song. Red with blood where life has fled, pretty flowers. Okay, right? The flowers are red. Okay, anyone who's singing La 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 must be utterly insane. So, let's see. Hi, lady. Well, that is to say, I'm a farm boy. I'm here to help. Let's see. But it's long since I had someone to sing and dance with me. Okay, I'll sing and dance with you. Oh no, you're attacking me. Oh, I didn't see that coming. Just because you are out here in the haunted land singing creepy songs. I have driven the fell spirit Olnathron from Idolene. No, you're... Okay. All right. Hey. Hi. I did save you. Yeah. I totally did. What? Hey, wait. Oh, man. Okay. Well, at least she's not a tree. That's all I can say. Do I have to protect... oh, phew. I don't even have to protect her. She just... What happened? She vanished. Was she even real? I don't know, man. That was just weird. But I was afraid I was going to have to fight to defend her all the way back. And as we know, that is not the strength of this particular burglar here. So... ninja though I be. I am a ninja. I am no guardian. I have to say, protection quests are much easier when you're playing a guardian than when you're playing a burglar. My guardian Wiggin has never seen a Huorn die. Huorn under my protection, that is. Poor walking tree of lamented memory. Okay, but I am now Gryfflet, knocker out of evil spirits from strange women dancing in haunted fields. That's an awkward title and probably not the one I'll in fact be given. Hey, here she is! Idaline, oh Idaline. Okay, Ithremin, hey. Oh, you're a little more chatty now, right? Yeah, hey, well, without harming the girl, okay, did she mention that I actually was beating her pretty soundly at the time? But I guess it was... anyway, I don't want to think about that. But thanks. Ooh, I get a club? Nah, it's not worth really very much, but that's okay. It's totally below my level with Remen, but thank you for the offer. I appreciate the gesture. Oh, look. Hey, Mincham, now you've got more company, right? She's from a farm not far from here, right? Okay. Your duty doesn't allow you to pursue the villains of Fornost, right? Because you're supposed to be sitting here and standing watch over the darkness, right? I get it. I understand. So you can't leave your post lest evil happen, right? So that's why you can't pursue evil. Boy, you're kind of caught in a cleft stick here, aren't you, Mincho? Anyway, okay. Right. Okay. Right. Unless they are unwise enough to venture south of where we stand, right? Okay. So right. So you've got to protect. Your job is to keep the evil contained here in the valley. I got it. I'm with you. Okay. Oh, so I'm supposed to ask Colbert where Olnathron will be hiding. Okay. Because, like the madman, he's the one to ask, right? First I ask the silent guy, and then now I'm going to ask the madman. Mincham, you are full of excellent suggestions. Okay. Well, search, I don't want... Those are strong terms, both of them. I can't really say, but... Okay, I cannot walk the steps I walked without going a tad mad. That would be bad to be a tad mad. I came from the north and the west, and I saw piles of dirt with bones sticking out, with treasures glinting from within. I came from the north and the west, and I saw piles of dirt with bones sticking out, with treasure glinting from within. I saw lights that called me to my death, and I saw graves wherever I looked. Okay. From this somewhat poetic, but still disappointingly non-rhythmic... Colbert, you gotta work on your poetry, right? I mean, that should have been in verse. That totally should have been... It would have been much better in verse. Work on that, Colbert. I'll come back to you and see if you can do any more poetry, because what else are you doing, man? Like, cast that into verse. How hard is that? Find and explore the strange piles of earth, okay? Search for the deathly lights. Why? Search for graves. Okay. All right. This is such good advice, I shall instantly do it. A vague list of landmarks in the western fields. Vague indeed, that was. Nor has he actually suggested that this will get me any further towards this quest. Which is what? Finding Olnathron, right? So I'm supposed to find the wicked, mischievous spirit that had sort of drawn this farm girl, Idaline, out into Fornost, and Mincham thought that maybe Colbert might have some clue about how to do that, and okay. So I'm trying to track with what the madman is sending me to do here, and assess my odds of actually getting anywhere. So okay, I'm looking for piles of earth, deathly lights, strange graves. Okay, all right. Let's look. There she is again, but that's okay. Ready for the next person to save her. All right. Oh, what do we have? Found a grave. Oh, and a Nithier the Cold. All right. Oh man, I got dread barghests all over the place. Just like the Barrow Downs. they're not. They don't inspire a very great deal. Defeat Barguests. Okay, right. They don't inspire a great deal of dread, I have to say. Ah, grave. Ooh. Now, what do we know? Okay, my amateur archaeologist friends, what do you notice about this grave site? Okay, yeah, the grave has been recently disturbed, but that's not the interesting thing about it. The interesting thing about it, well, first of all, it is a little interesting that it was disturbed recently. I mean, like, this place has been haunted for what, like hundreds of years? But anyway, whatever. See what you see? Would you honestly? Barguests are so impolite. I was just in the middle of investigating the carvings on the side of this grave. Now, sit. Okay. Anyway, see what you see here? See these curly-Q designs? Where have we seen that before? Exactly. We've seen things like that before in the Great Barrow. That would seem to be a sign, because of course, we do not have any Arnorian signs, any Rudaran or Arthedanian signs on this tomb. This is not, in fact, a Dunedain tomb. This is a tomb from the peoples which predated the Dunedain, the Arnorians in this land, as do the Barrows. So, okay, now we're not really told enough about this. Ooh, a treasure chest. That's got to be good. Tolkien doesn't say anything about this, almost nothing at all about this region, so we don't really know. We don't really know anything about that. But so we can see that the Turbine folks are building this on the model of. They're building this on the model of the Barrow Downs, right, where we have these burial mounds, which show evidence not just of the ancient Arnorian civilization, which is no more. Hey, Barguests. Yeah. Ooh, boy, this is a crowd. All right, it's a good thing I'm such a doughty burglar, and also a good thing that I think I have somebody helping me with heals in case I get gnawed on too violently by these Barguests. But I'm over level for this region and thus feeling extremely cocky. So anyway, so we're following the model of the Barrow Downs, and this does not seem implausible. I mean, again, anything with this kind of geography is going to be with this kind of geography. There's no question that somebody before the Arnorians would have recognized, hey, this valley looks like a secure place. Hey, okay, it's Nithir. Hey, Nithir, are you Nithir the Cold? You look cold. You're blue. Okay, do you have a bottom jaw? That's my primary question. No, you don't even have an upper jaw. You just have this like insectoid head with glowing eyes. But you've got the whole raggedy thing going on. Okay, Nithir. I am close. How much closer do you want me to get? Oh, I don't think so. Okay. Oh, I can't. Oh, I see. Ooh, Redeemer, huh? Okay, I defeated one of the chief forces of evil in the fields of Fornost. Really? Who drains the warmth from men. Well, I'll have to tell Mincham about that. He should make field trips more often. Okay, shades of Oathbreakers, cursed to remain after life has fled, haunt the fields of Fornost. Right, yeah, I noticed that. They're deadly in their hatred of all things that live and breathe. Kind of like Barrow Wights. Right, yeah, okay. All right, well, if I see any more, I guess he counted. Right. I defeated a shade. Okay, that's good. Oh, look, here's another grave. I bet it has curlicues on the side. That's right. I'm a fine connoisseur of grave carvings. Yes, indeed. Just as I expected. I'm searching. Interrupted by stupid Barguests. Bad dog. Bad. You do not interrupt Gryfflet's archaeological wanderings. Anyway, I was searching. Is this okay, yeah, but that wasn't what I was searching for. Okay, that's fine. All right, so Interesting. Here's another one. I don't know, does this count as... I'm supposed to find strange piles of earth and deathly lights. I don't know if this... Do these count as... These aren't piles of earth exactly. But I'm supposed to find graves too, so okay. All of these graves are... Lots of Oathbreakers over there, but... No need to disturb them. Okay, there's another grave. All right. Now, what is this, like, mist? I mean, it's spooky. Don't get me wrong. Like, for atmosphere, that's really excellent. Can I say, though, I really like how the idea that the whole land is kind of blighted seems to me also very fitting, right? That the evil that was wrought here has blighted. I mean, look at the poor trees, right? And the the whole, and all the sort of the darkness over the land. That seems very fitting. That seems very good. Notice also how we have like a recollection of the standing stones that we saw in the Barrow Downs, but where those were clearly, or seemed anyway, I thought we were fairly clearly invited to see those as sort of grave markers and the sort of the constructions of the ancient peoples who had originally built their barrows there in the Barrow Downs. Here there was there's we do get these rocks, right? So it's almost like we're invited to think that these are like even a step more ancient perhaps than the Barrow Downs, because there at least there were like the monolithic rocks and the pillar, right? The pillar of the what is it called, that big huge spike, right, that was there, and all those things. We don't get that. We just get kind of rocks, right? Like rocks like that, natural rocks just arranged in a formation like that. Clearly didn't happen naturally. They were clearly placed there, but they didn't seem to be shaped, right? Notice how we can see that on multiple hills. So in other words, the archaeological evidence would suggest that these people were even sort of less technologically advanced than the people who built the Barrow Downs. What am I supposed to do here? I've encountered some odd-looking mounds. Oh, this is the piles of dirt I was looking for. Hooray, I found dirt. Okay, that was good. I wasn't sure I was going to find any. Right, okay, I should dig and see if there's anything worth finding. Okay, yeah, because, like, ghosts and things all around, like, digging it up sounds like precisely the thing I should do. Okay, mining. We're mining. Hey, there's treasure. Wait. Oh, and a bound corpse. That's interesting. Bound to the treasure? Bound to the site? Bound to die fairly quickly, apparently. What treasure did I find? Oh, an expert weaponsmith troll case. No, that was when I killed him. Well, and the bound corpse... Oh, I didn't hear him speak. He said, "May Olnathron curse me?" Really? Well, how interesting. Okay, let's see. What's in this mound? Wait, was there a hide in that other mound? Seriously? It's still good? What did I get here? Did I actually get treasure? Just a corpse. That's not treasure. Or at least that really is lousy treasure, I have to tell you. I don't really want corpses. Though, one could say, like, you go digging in burial mounds, what do you expect to find? Aren't I... Wait, I'm not being attacked? Seriously? Okay. Confidently expected to be attacked when I dig in a mound. Notice that these mounds appear to be made out of rubble, not out of dirt. Which is really interesting. Why would that be? What rubble are they made out of? That's what I'm talking about. I dig in an old burial mound, I expect to be attacked by a corpse, of course. And possibly a wandering bar guest from nearby. I mean, that seems only appropriate. Frankly disappointed when that doesn't happen. Okay. Alright. Another mound. I've got several more mounds here in which to dig, apparently. Almost there. Oh, another corpse. I don't know. So, Colbert, what's the plan here? Like, oh, I guess, okay, so it's not that, let's give Colbert the Mad a little bit of credit here. It's not that they were unconnected. I mean, they are talking about, again, if I look, I don't really see their dialogue, but they keep saying, I am yours to command, Olnathron. So, these corpses are in fact connected with the wicked spirit Olnathron, which I beat out of that farm girl. So, I guess this is not totally irrelevant. Okay. The digging was dangerous work. Well, yeah, okay. I discovered some valuables. Really, did I? I'm richer for my troubles. Am I? Okay. All right. A villainous oathbreaker. Oh, man. That's a particularly bad breed of oathbreaker. All right. Ooh. Okay. All right. Who was the idiot who built that tower? Seriously. I mean, honestly, look at this. For crying out loud. Do you realize how tall that tower would have to be, even just to stand up as high as the hills that surround it? I mean, you don't build a tower in the middle of like a dell like that. I mean, seriously, that's the most ridiculous thing. See this? Now that makes sense. Look at this. Here we have oh, hey, it's I think it's my protection detail. So notice how here we have some more of these uncut stones, right? Probably uncut. I'll have to look at them more closely because I think I'm going to head up there next. But see, notice how they've been arranged. Like this is just obviously not natural, right? This was obviously of human arrangement, and we see this obelisk in the middle, which looks like it was more. That's clearly cut stone. So this has all the look of like a burial mound. This has all of the look of a complete imbecile who would make... Maybe it wasn't a tower, but still, like, why would you build anything at the bottom of that? It's just... I can't even get over it. Who built this? A faint glimmer. Oh, it's shining lights. I was supposed to look for that. Okay, there's a disturbed burial site here, and I'm seeing glimmers of light. A fell glimmer. Ah, fell. Such a wonderful Tolkien adjective. The disturbed tomb in this clearing seems to shimmer briefly with an odd eeriness, as opposed to a run-of-the-mill eeriness, which, frankly, seems more likely down here. But anyway, that is in Fornost. Eeriness seems really quite normal. But so, is it odd on the Fornost scale? But anyway, whatever. Perhaps it was only a trick of the light, but I should investigate more closely. Okay. All right. There's another tomb. Looks like the other tombs. I would place it from the same archaeological period, from the same architectural period as the others. Let's see. What do I find? Can I find any inscription? A hateful light! Oh my goodness! Oh, that is bad. A hateful light. Man. So is it a light that I hate? Or is it a light that hates me? It's because hateful, of course, is one of those... Whoa. Moravan, probably. The F is probably pronounced like a V under that circumstance. Wow. Is that a name? Or is that a... Excuse me, is Moravan a proper noun or a common noun? I'm confused. The wicked lights of Moravan. Okay, that sounds like a proper noun then. Wow. I've dispersed Moravan's fell light from this haunted place. Okay. Boy, yeah, mention really should get out more often. A fell glimmer. Anyway, okay. Yeah, this architecture is obviously not Arnorian, which makes me feel better, because I would not like to think that the Arnorians were as stupid as to make something like this. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what this was. A house? A hall? A tower? Kind of the roundedness of it here is making me think tower, which again, incredibly stupid. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, let's go up the hill up here. We gotta find some more graves, and this certainly... Whoa. Bloodthirsty Akasoth? Oh dear. I feel a hatred bent upon me. Nice. And I realize that a presence filled with fury is near. I have encountered Akasoth, a terrifying being, not a bean, in the fields of Fornost. This ghostly entity has grown in bloodlust from having pulled the life from the lands... Wait. This ghostly entity has grown in bloodlust from having pulled the life from the lands around it. I think we could fix our prepositions here, but I shan't quibble. Okay, so by drawing the life from the land, Akasoth has become increasingly bloodthirsty. So the cause and effect relationship of bloodthirstiness and the evil of the land is interesting here. So, okay, so notice here, since Akasoth seems like he won't attack me until I talk to him, that gives us a chance to look here. So, okay, so we've got some rubble. This looks like it's the stairs, an old set of stairs, right? Here we come up to the obelisk. Is there anything up here? What do we see in the obelisk? Is that a carving? Is that like a little snake hook thing going on? Is that just a natural feature of the rock, which does seem to be veined? Wow. Okay, so, and this was shaped, but look at this. That's still, I mean, okay, like it's shaped. But that's not, I mean, the Arnorian architects must have really scoffed at that. Seriously. Yeah, look at that. Oh, excuse me. All right, yep. So I'm trying to figure out whether this used to be a better obelisk which has been broken, or whether it was always like this. And I'm leaning towards always like this, frankly. I mean, look at this base. Look at that. That's not eroded. That's just shoddy construction right there. So yeah, I think we're clearly supposed to understand that whoever made this was not really the sharpest architect in his class. So, okay. But now look over here. That is a fortress actually set up on a hill. Okay. And, oh, looky over there. Now, this tower, of course, which Gryfflet hasn't been there yet, but from my experience with Wigand, I can identify this very clearly. That is a numinous construction. That little feature with the 4 spikes up at the top of the tower, that is classic Arnorian right there. So, yeah, very interesting. Okay, and so where is that? That's, oh, of course it is. Right, that makes sense. That's off to the west, right? Yes, it is. Yes, of course. The camera is not facing the same direction as my character, so that. But yes, that's off. That's off to the west, which of course is just what we'd expect because that's off towards Evendim. So okay, excellent. But you know, one thing that this suggests, the way that they have laid out Fornost here implies. Okay, if we sort of reconstruct this, it would suggest that the fields of Fornost were always like this. That is, when Fornost was at its peak. You know, I mean, when this place was full of Dunedain, and it was the seat of the North Kingdom. That is, you know, in the later stages when it was the seat of Arthedain. There were these tombs all over the place. I mean, obviously, this hill with all these spiky rocks and its crude obelisk long predates Arnor. So that's kind of an interesting concept right there. That the Dunedain would actually have sufficient respect for the ancient men that came before, that they would not, you know, renovate a little bit because, like, you know, huge barrows on every hill along here is kind of a downer, you know, you have to admit. But sorry, Akasoth, I know you're super bloodthirsty, so this has probably been kind of mean to be standing right next to you like this and, like, not letting you thirst after my blood. It's probably been really tantalizing as I'm sitting here having a discussion about, like, examining the obelisk with you standing right there. I am not sorry, even a little bit. But hey, okay, Akasoth, let's put you out of your bloodthirsty misery. Yeah, I'll come closer to you. I'll come a little closer than you were comfortable with. That's what I'll do. Oh, you're stunned. Oh, you got nothing, Akasoth. bloodthirsty you may be. Oh, man. That was embarrassing, Akasoth. After all that, I just absolutely demolished you. Okay, yep. Killer of men. Well, you just ran into a hobbit. That was one too many for you. Okay, now there's a... Is there a grave around here? I'm still short 2 graves. All right. Oh, another dog. So now bar guests, I don't fully understand bar guests. I mean, they're clearly living animals. They're not ghosts, right? Oh, there's a grave. I see another grave. Down here in another... Oh, I'm being shot at by a ghost now? I didn't see you standing here behind this standing stone. Right, that was a pretty cunning ambush you set up, Mr. Marksman. Okay. Alright. So we got another little mini ruin. Now this was clearly just some kind of shrine, perhaps, or... Let me guess, it was recently disturbed. Yeah, I have been detecting a trend there. Okay. Ooh, look at this stone. Looks like it's been carved, doesn't it? No, maybe not. This little feature on the top is interesting. Okay. Where are we headed? There's another grave somewhere around here, is there? Oh, I see another tower in a valley. Maybe there's a grave in there. I'm going to get on horseback to look for the final grave. Might have missed it somewhere up in the north. I hope not, but I might have done. Are there any graves? Aha. Aha. Oh, man. Oathbreakers all over the place. Haven't used stealth even once today. Okay, Mr. Oathbreaker Marksman. Never even know. Did not recognize until too late that you were being confronted by way more hobbit than you could handle. All right! Woohoo! Dun, 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 dun. Now, I'm going to head back, but first, we are right here near this little mini fortress, and I can't forbear to look. So I think, oh, this is right. I'm going to come here later. Right. Okay. Yeah, I think one of the later quests is going to bring me here, so it's fine. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the place where Minchin's horse is going to take me. Yeah. Yeah, as you see, I've done the Fornost quest a bunch of times before. Fornost has always been... I've always really liked Fornost up here. I've been here with at least 2 or 3 other characters. Anyway, okay. All right. Colbert the Mad. We're... Oh boy, right between 2 marksmen, both of which were probably going to shoot me off my horse. Oh, did I thread the needle there? Excellent. All right. Heading back. Ooh. Hey, did I find my way up onto that hill? What's up here? Ooh, tombs in the side of the... I came the wrong way, but boy, am I glad I did. Look at this. Okay, so here we've got tombs in the side of the hill. Now that, of course, is very practical. But we don't have curlicues. What do we have? What do we have? It's like the obelisk. Is that supposed to suggest sort of just natural markings in the stone again, or have they carved it? So we've got the curlicue people and the vertical squiggly line people. And what are these, like marks? Is this... Those look like hash marks. They look like, yeah, like counting marks. Are they counting the number of bodies they put in there, right? That's number 8, right, that we put into this tomb. I guess. And let's see. Are they even? They put, yes, indeed. Wait, no. There's looks like there's 7, maybe, dead bodies in that tomb. Okay. Ah, interesting. Okay. And we've got another Another little grave area up here. Villainous Oathbreakers. I bet they are. Huh. Another mound of earth, or mound of rubble, really, just like the other one, except I can't dig this one. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Oh, yep. Here's that bluff I wasn't sure I could get up on top of, right? This is, in fact, that ruin I was seeing from down below. Very much like the other ones, except it's got this weird mound of earth, rubble, slag, whatever it is, there in the middle. Okay. I think I'm going to jump. Safe fall. Yeehaw! I really like safe fall because I love taking shortcuts of this kind. All right. Off I go on my pony. Got a bay pony because it's sort of stealthier, right? It's dark. My pony and I are a mere shadow. Okay, Colbert. I did all of your strange things. Now, have you, in the meantime, have you come up with any verse? All right? Yeah, mention. Okay, did they talk about Tam Lorn? I don't remember that. Right, I'd Moraphin, the light of death. Oh, how about that? The light of death and the death of light. And newly disturbed graves. Yeah, okay, right. Olnathron has likely retreated to Tam Lorn. It's probably pronounced Tam, I would think. Probably not Tham Lorn. But her power has not waned. I don't know. Maybe it's waxing and waning. It's troubling news. Okay. Well, I'm not that troubled, but I'm with you, Minchin. I'm ready. Okay. You believe Olnathron is at Tham Lorn, which is where I was, up there, those ruins, right in the Western Fields. Yeah, I saw those. I was really curious about those, so I'm really glad you're going to send me over there. You've heard dark rumors about that place of late. Okay. From whom? But anyway, it's fine. And it could well be the source of the evil stirrings in Fornost. Never know. My horse will take you there. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Oh, right. This is awesome. I've got a horse, but I am honored to ride your horse, as your horse is the only person here in the camp that I haven't met yet. Hi, horse. You've got a great name, horse. And here we are. Hi, horse. Oh, yeah. Thanks for relaxing there, horse. Okay, yep. So here, this is in fact where we were. Look, there's that Arnorian tower over there, obviously and manifestly Arnorian. And we've got one ruin up here. Oh, look at here. We've got this down. This is the valley. That's the way going to Evendim, right? This is where we are, way over there. Yes. Okay, so that's the path to Evendim over there. Oh, it's getting dark. Darn it. I think it's getting, like, shadowy with dread and that kind of thing. We've got another ruin over there. But anyway, all right. One ruin at a time. All right, so here we are. Let's sneak. Let's get stealthy. Did I complete a stealth deed? I think I did. Leaf walker? Seriously? Okay. Did I walk like a... Why am I getting the Lotro store? I don't know. Anyway, okay, right? All right. I got a deed. Okay. All right. Complete sidestep. Right. Okay. All right. Excellent. Glad to be working on my burglarious thing. 5 turbine points. Excellent. Okay. Anyway, meanwhile, we've got important things to do. We have come here for 2 purposes. First, to defeat the spirit Olnathron, and secondly, to explore the ruins of Tam Lorn and see what used to be clouds of strange idols. Oh dear. Spewing noxious green clouds. I have seen those before. I should disable them. Absolutely I should, because we know what those are. Those are white factories. Yes, indeed. We have just like the you know, it's there's sygaldry at work. Oh dear, I suspected as much. And look at that, we've got the piles of bones lying around. Okay, so in fact, this is the center of the evil, just as Minchin had explained, because we have a white factory here. So clearly, this Olnathron is up to some... She's not just involved with, or he... I don't know, is Olnathron masculine or feminine? I mean, I guess once you're a ghost, it's like slightly moot. I totally understand. But But anyway, it's you know, pronouns are useful. Anyhow, so anyway, oh, you got no chance, Mr. Villainous Oathbreaker. You have to be a heck of a lot more villainous than that. So anyway, so Olnathron is indeed in the business not just of commanding shades, but now I guess you can't really. Can you create shades? I mean, like, you got to break your own oath. You know, you got to kind of make your own bed and to be an oath. Oh, that is disgusting. They're keeping piles of bones in the fountain? Oh, where are people supposed to drink? You're polluting the public water source like that? That is just wrong. Whoa, this is a huge one. Oh, look at that noxious green. What, wasn't purple smoke coming out of the ones in the Lone Lands? Am I misremembering that? Maybe the color of the smoke correlates with like what they're making here? I don't know. Oops. Okay, Mr. Villainous. All right, let's go back to sneaking. Okay, now this is an interesting... So, all right. Now, architecturally speaking, we've got some interesting, this interesting vaulted arcade here with the fountain, with the vaults right in the middle. But notice, this is still not Arnorian architecture, right? The stonework doesn't look Arnorian, really. I mean, unless we have to, I guess, hold open the possibility that this is just a different style of Arnorian architecture. It certainly looks way more sophisticated than anything we saw. Both these vaults and like that kind of this kind of, oh, what's that called? Darn it, I'm forgetting the term. Does anybody remember the term for like a? It's not the clear story, is it? Up there at the top, I forget. I used to know some of these architectural terms, but I'm forgetting them. And I think this is a dead end anyway. Now that I've gotten that, okay. Anyway, so it's certainly different architecture than we have seen from certainly different architecture than we saw down in those ruins, like the idiotic ruin in the valley, for instance. Maybe that's what it was called. It was like the Tower of Idiots or something like that. But anyhow, okay. Got some more oath breakers. There's another idol. How many of these idols? Oh, 6 of them, eh? My goodness. Okay. Clear story is correct. Okay. All right. Excellent. Good. That was my vague memory. Oh, that's even worse. Look at this. They've built one of these right in the fountain. Did they drill a hole through the ceiling in order to... Oh, okay, it's kind of open. The ceiling collapsed. So they're just like, hey, all right, it's open anyway. Might as well build a white factory smokestack right in the middle. And, can I just say that, like, the fact that, like, the center pieces of evil look like smokestacks, right? Like factories. That's kind of a very, I kind of think that Tolkien would sort of like that. I have to admit. How do we get up there? How do we go around? I think we gotta go around this way. There's another smokestack over there. Hey, Mr. Marksman, don't mind me. Just sneaking past you. Okay. Aha, here we are. Okay. Excellent. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's the idea that the things that look like factory smokestacks are centers of evil and white factories. It's kind of lovely. Kind of lovely. Like it. All right. And now here we got 2 more over here, so we're good. All right. Where's Olnathron? I think we're getting closer. That skeleton, that kind of looks like a skeleton that's going to come alive, doesn't it? I can't help but think that. Okay. Excellent. Finished the idols. This looks like the... Yes, sir. Ooh. Olnathron, you put on a hat. Look at that. Olnathron got all dressed up. Olnathron, hang on. I'm just going to take out this marksman because I don't want him shooting at me from a distance while I'm fighting Olnathron. That would be awkward for everyone involved, especially me. Okay. Oh, look at that. I've defeated the shades. Excellent. Okay. Oh boy, there's an uncomfortable number of skeletons in here. Look at that one. Man, that is a huge white factory. So now, Olnathron, do you know any sygaldry? Because I'm thinking you probably do. And also, do you mind if I just check out what's in this treasure chest up here while you just hang on? I'll be right with you. Oh, cracked dwarf carvings. And I don't know why dwarf carvings are always in the shape of an elephant. I think that's charming, though improbable. But that's okay. Okay, Olnathron. And can I just say again, I really do like your hat. I don't know if you're like a master chef that looks like a... Maybe it's like an Egyptian kind of thing. I guess so. Okay, all right. From profile, you're definitely female, Olnathron. I'm with you now. Okay, I've got a pronoun for you here. Okay, so she's wearing a lovely hat and she has no lower jaw. Okay, that's definitely a trend. So fancy hat and no lower jaw. Oh, excellent. Okay. And do you have creepy fangs? Your fangs are less creepy than Denassen's fangs, actually. Really hard to tell from the front. Yeah, there we go. Oh, look at that. You've got this lovely headdress on your spectral skull there. And really nice, like, gauntlet things going on. This is really a lovely ensemble you have going there. I'm honestly, I feel like, hang on. There we go. There we go. You got dressed up. I feel like I should get dressed up too because it's all right. Here we are now. Let us face off against each other in our party outfits. You've got a baker's hat. I've got a cake on my head. Now we're fair. Okay. The Dunedain cannot withstand the might of the dead, and neither can you. That's what you think. You will all die. Now, when you say you will all, I'm wondering, you don't mean hobbits all die? Or are you lumping me in with the Dunedain, like me plus the Dunedain will all die? In which case, that's kind of flattering. But anyway, I think you're probably not thinking about it that carefully. And this land will be covered in our fell shadows. Die now and curse in vain. Oh, I can't even attack you? I just get bound corpses? Okay. I'm gonna take out the bound corpses because, as I recall, they die comparatively easily. Where are you going, Olnathron? Oh, Olnathron. Come back here and face me, Olnathron. You coward. That's right. Come face the person in the cake hat. We will square off fancy hat to fancy hat. No good it is. Okay. Woohoo! All right, better go tell Mincham that I defeated the... All right. Excellent. Say fall again. Alright, now I'm going to stealth. Though I have to say, being stealthy in a cake-shaped hat seems a little bit, I mean, like, you know, defeating the purpose of wearing a cake-shaped hat in the first place. But that's okay. Alright, I'm headed out. It looks like I should probably go out of my way to kill a Barghest. I only need one more to complete my Barghest killing quest. So I think I'll do that. Hey, suppose you didn't expect to get attacked by a hobbit wearing a cake on his head. Maybe it was the cake on my head that said he detected me when I was in stealth. Probably because he smelled the cake. Yeah, it was pretty foolish trying to sneak up on a canine with a cake on your head. So I suppose I should go back and restore the confidence of Ithremin, the mute, not mute, but hiding behind one of those standing stones again. Honestly, I thought that would be beneath you, Mr. Cruel Grip Barghest. Okay, where's the horse? There he is. Hey, horse. Hi, Minchin's aptly named horse. Let's go back. Hooray! Okay, Minchin. I taking care of business. Yeah, there were smokestacks, sygaldry going on. I put an end to it. I'm good at that. Yeah, fueled by Olnathron herself. Right, yes. Yeah, they doubtless were. And polluting the local... Okay, like the local water supply. It's not like anyone was using it. I mean, everyone over there is dead. But still, it's the principle of the thing. It's just unhygienic and disgusting. My friend, I know you've been right. A shadow that darkened my thoughts has vanished. Well, excellent. Ooh, artisan leather armor. That sounds like it would be good. Okay. I have been a great boon to you. Excellent. But you would imagine my friend Amarian needs your help more than I. Really. He's stationed... Okay, so I'm supposed to go over to speak with this other ranger dude. Okay. Tempting, but I don't think I have time right now, Colbert. I might come back later on. But I think I'm almost out of time, aren't I? Must be close. Yep, we got about 10 minutes. Let's see if we can make it up to Halbered, and then we'll pick up with Halbered next time. All right. Whew. Oh, so the sun comes back out. I was glad to help Minchin, but I got to tell you, that was a little depressing there. So, okay. I'm going to, while we ride out towards Halbered, I'm going to answer another lore question. So, another really excellent lore question came in from Fairvenin. Okay, let's see. All right, let's see, where was it? Okay, here it is. Okay. Do I have any theories about what direction Tolkien would have taken with regards to solving the orc race's holy evil problem, or any solutions that I myself would have found satisfying? That's a really interesting question. So for sort of context, of course, as you know, I mean, I talked about this, I think, last time. Didn't I talk about this? About how the only sort of, people sort of criticize Tolkien for being too, moral blacks and whites kind of thing. And I think, and I have said many times, that I think that that's a really sort of silly argument to make. And one that doesn't really read Tolkien very carefully at all. But I did say the one exception to this is the orcs, that the orcs are wholly evil. Now, the consequence of having the orcs be wholly evil, on the one hand, there's sort of a good story consequence to it, right? I mean, one of the things that having the orcs wholly evil, one of the things that enables is essentially idealized warfare. Let me explain what I mean by that. Nobody was more aware than Tolkien of the sort of moral complexity of war. He himself experienced, war in, sort of really terrible ways in World War I, and his sons fought and were injured in World War II. He didn't lose any of his sons in World War II, luckily. But anyway, I mean, he lived through both of the world wars. This is not somebody who is naive about war and what it was really like. And again, some people will talk about, sort of the way that battle and war is depicted in Tolkien as if he were naive, which, as I say, is I think a very silly thing to think. But this is where orcs are really useful, right? In one of his letters to Christopher Tolkien, when Christopher was stationed in South Africa with the Royal Air Force in World War II, he was sort of saying one of the things that makes the war so difficult is that there are orcs on both sides, right? That is to say, it is, in real life war, there isn't a question of the good guys and the bad guys. It's not, the enemy are not like the orcs. The thing about the orcs is that you can safely hate them because they are wholly evil, and therefore the sort of benefit of this, sort of moral benefit or sort of spiritual benefit, is that the orcs it means that the battles in Tolkien, in Tolkien's world, are sort of applicable in a more sort of abstract kind of way. It's, you'll notice that there are elements, not exactly of moral ambiguity, but remember when Sam sees his first battle of men against men in Ithilien, when Faramir and the Rangers of Ithilien ambush the Haradrim, and he sees the dead Haradrim and is wondering, what his name was and if he was truly evil at heart. Tolkien has those questions, and mercy is shown to think about the way the Rohirrim treat the Dunlendings after the battle. Think about the way in which the Haradrim are treated, and many of them are given quarter and are sort of treated mercifully after the battle at the Black Gate. It's not that all of Tolkien's battles are totally oversimplified, but when it comes to the orcs, they generally are. Again, in that, it's always good to kill the orcs, and I think it's one of the things I think that really sort of makes Tolkien's battles kind of satisfying in many ways. Anyhow, this is leading somewhere. Okay, so here's where this is leading. The function that they play, the sort of moral simplicity, the simple evil of the orcs, contributes, I think, sort of positively. But the problem is, when you actually sort of think it through, it doesn't make that much sense. It's a weakness in Tolkien's overall subcreation, and he himself recognized it as a weakness in his subcreation. It doesn't make sense. Because basically there are only two possibilities. If the orcs do not have free will, they can't be real creatures. That is, if they were constructs of some kind, not children of Iluvatar, right? If they're just constructs, something essentially more like robots than anything else, then they could just be simply evil. If they were just essentially, not electronic robots, but if they're basically constructs that were made to do evil things, then they could be simply and unquestionably evil without there being any problems, right? But that's not the situation, and that's not what we see. But, well, I should be careful. That is how they were originally. When you read Tolkien's older writings, and here I'm thinking especially of the Book of Lost Tales, if you read volumes 1 and 2 of the History of Middle-earth series, which are called the Book of Lost Tales Part 1 and Part 2, those are the very first stories, the very first prose stories that Tolkien... Okay, well, the first prose story that he wrote that we have is Kullervo, the new edition of which has just been edited by Vroen Flieger and released in England and soon in America. But the first time he really came together and tried to write a full prose version of his mythology was the Book of Lost Tales. He was writing this right after World War I. We're talking like Tolkien is like college age, early 20s, when he's writing the Books of Lost Tales. And in the Book of Lost Tales, the orcs are, in fact, constructs. They're made from slime and stuff by Morgoth. And now, if you're thinking, but wait a second, in the Lord of the Rings, don't they say that evil can't create, right? And that nothing that has life of itself could the enemy ever create? Yes, but that's a later thought by Tolkien. That was not true of the enemy in the beginning. Morgoth, Melko, he didn't have the R at the end of his name. He was just Melko back in the first drafts. Back in the old days, Melko could in fact create living things. Dragons were made this way. Orcs were made this way. They were actual creatures, creations, constructs of evil. And therefore they could be unambiguously evil. They didn't have free will. That was not a problem because they're like slime robots, right? So no problems. But later on he became, but again, this was sort of a theological problem, because nothing that has life in itself could the enemy create. That became something that he sort of theologically reconsidered, that he didn't want that. That didn't fit the world as he conceived it theologically. Therefore, the orcs couldn't just be constructs. They had to be what they came to be in the published Silmarillion, that is, corrupted children of Iluvatar. The enemy cannot create, he can only corrupt. So the orcs became children of Iluvatar, twisted and corrupted. And that then brings us to the big problem. Wouldn't they have free will? Shouldn't, if they're children of Iluvatar, even quit twisted and corrupted, couldn't they have, shouldn't they, mustn't they have free will? In that case, there are only two possibilities. Either orcs have the ability to be redeemed. There must be, if orcs are children of Iluvatar, they must have free will, and therefore they must be able to make a good choice. We don't see any of them doing it. Everybody assumes that they can't, but of course they, even the wise, might be incorrect about this. The other possibility, of course, is that, again, if they all of them are remaining universally evil, there is another explanation for that, and that is that they do have free will, but their wills are being dominated by force, by the will of the enemy. That is, they are being enslaved and compelled to do evil, rather than having that be a spontaneous choice of their own free will. And although Tolkien never goes so far as actually to say that, certainly not in his published writings, there are moments that do sort of contribute to that idea. Let me read briefly my favorite example of these, and I of course also read this because I never can turn down an opportunity to read this sentence, which is one of my favorite sentences in The Lord of the Rings. This, of course, is right before the fall of Sauron, when Sauron realizes that the ring is in the Samath Naur, is right at the cracks of doom. From all his policies and webs of fear and treachery, from all his stratagems and wars, his mind shook free, and throughout his realm a tremor ran. Notice this. His slaves quailed, and his armies halted, and his captains, suddenly steerless, bereft of will, wavered and despaired, for they were forgotten. The whole mind and purpose of the power that wielded them was now bent with overwhelming force upon the mountain. See that? Throughout his realm, his slaves quailed, and his armies halted, and his captains, suddenly steerless, bereft of will, wavered and despaired. The implication is that it was in fact the will of Sauron that not only steered his captains, but also drove them on. His armies all halt when his will ceases to drive them. Does this say that Sauron has perfect control over the will of all of his soldiers? Not necessarily. But it does show that model of the will of the enemy being imposed, actually not just fueling the orcs, not just sending them out, but actually enslaving them and dominating them, which of course is what the enemy does, right? That's what makes Sauron the Dark Lord, is his use of his will to enslave others. That does seem to be operative with the orcs. So Ferven, in the end of your question, was, is there an answer that I would find satisfying? This is not Tolkien never really came up with a perfect solution to this, and there were several other theories that he was kicking around about where orcs came from in order to basically try to get around this problem. The answer that I sort of like most, that I kind of like to think happened, is this, basically, that orcs are twisted and corrupt. They are born into a thoroughly perverted culture. So the culture that the orcs are born into is an evil culture that leads. So they are, by upbringing, right, by their nurture and environment, they are raised to, enjoy inflicting suffering, and they are in a twisted culture. That does not mean that individuals among the orcs could not possibly be redeemed, could not possibly turn back and turn aside. Theoretically, that could happen, right? But it doesn't happen so long as Sauron is there. and Sauron is guiding and steering and dominating the orcs with his will. But it would open the door for the idea that after the downfall of Sauron, there could be some orcs who, in fact, turn aside from evil. And that there could be, down the road in the Fourth Age, some, like, societies of repentant orcs out there trying to make their way and find a new way in the world. It's conceivable. And of course, Tolkien didn't say anything about any of that kind of thing, so I have no authorial warrant for any of those things. But as far as what makes most sense to me and how I would make best sense of what Tolkien has said and what we see in his works, that's where I would go with it. Anyway, okay, we are pretty much out of time. We have come across the North Downs here, past some farmsteads as we went, and a charming little windmill here. It's good to see that they have a windmill because, of course, they would need somebody to grind their grain, and they wouldn't want to take it all the way down to Trestle Bridge. Actually, I think I'm going to stop here. No, I'm not. I can't help it. Okay, so we're going to go in. Now look at that. Would you look at that? Look at the clear stories there, just like in Tam Lorn. So it does suggest that Tam Lorn was in fact an Arnorian structure. Right, and see these columns, right? Just like the columns in Tam Lorn. And the arches, right, Romanesque arches, which they were in Tam Lorn as well. So yeah, okay, so it does suggest that Tam Lorn was an Arnorian, Arthedainian ruin. So here we are at this other ruin, right? I wonder what this ruin is. Let's go. Oh, look at this, and we've got sentries, right? We've got Dunedain sentries guarding. I love his little lean-to, right? It's like a little bus shelter over here. Okay, I got a little stool, right? Somebody can come visit him. And would you look at this, right? We could put up some gates here. We could put some barricades here. Look at this. We got murder holes. We could shoot through these. We got arrow slits. Man, look at this. This is a highly defensible position right here. Can we see through? Oh yeah. Look at that. Oh boy. You see, you could, and you got 3 different levels to fall back to. This is great. This is Esteldine. Very cool. All right. We'll have a lot to talk about looking at Esteldine next time. But here we are in Esteldine. This, I believe, is where we'll find Halbered. This is the home base of the Rangers. I love Esteldines. Okay, so next time we will meet Halbered. We will explore Esteldine, and maybe we will meet some other famous people too. That would be awesome. So thanks very much. Thanks very much for joining us today. And I will see you guys again. I should be back. I know of nothing that will keep me away next week. So I look forward to seeing you guys again